Hello, my name is Oscar, and welcome to Hollywood Underwater. In 2016, Dimension Films had a small movie that they had just made for $5.5 million, and they were about to release it to the sharks. Who's the sharks? Us, the fickle audiences, ready to pounce and destroy their cute little movie with chum buckets of criticism and judgment. But then enters this man. Wait, isn't that the guy who used to be a stand-up comic years ago? No. He did that late night show where he stitched together press junket interviews and turned it into a movie review show. Yes, and then he took all that money, got some investors, and bought the Weather Channel for $300 million. That guy? Yeah, that guy. He also created his own entertainment studios, which he called Entertainment Studios, but this then allowed him to take chances on films that he thought might do better than expected. Byron Allen, and if his lifelong hustle to the top doesn't already clue you in, he purchased the rights to 47 Meters Down back when it was still called In the Deep. That's right, a small batch of those DVDs grew legs and made it to the streets and are now collector's items, which you can find on legit sites like eBay or the trunk of somebody's car. Allen releases the movie in theaters in the summer of 2017, and he wins. Yes, 47 Meters Down eventually brought in nearly $60 million worldwide. How could this be, you ask? Because everybody loves a shark movie. I don't know why, but 3 months later, they confirmed the sequel, and he had a hit franchise that he could develop. Now, the movie was shot in two locations, one in Essex, England, where the Basildon Studios has an underwater tank facility, and also at the Pinewood Studios down in the Dominican Republic. The movie was directed by Johan Roberts, who had made other suspense thrillers and is actually now currently finishing up Resident Evil, which will come out in 2022, but this was his first underwater venture. The movie stars Mandy Moore, who I think is great. Really, I wish she would get more Hollywood roles. She just has something so warm about her, and I love watching her. And Claire Holt, who's been in like Mean Girls 2, Vampire Diaries, and then of course the underwater camera work was led by Mark and Amy Silk, who have worked on plenty of other underwater projects, including Jurassic World, Gravity, Pressure, and a whole list of others. The Basildon Studios in Essex, England, are where most of the underwater cage footage was shot. Mandy Moore and her co-star Claire Holt had never actually gone scuba diving before they got these roles. They had a day and a half experience with the director of the film off the coast of Ventura, California, and next thing you know, they were filming 8 hours a day in a tank in England for the next 7 weeks. Since Roberts, the director, decided to take the deep dive, he truly did set most of the story underwater down at that cage. And so 47 Meters Down is actually the longest underwater feature production in the history of cinema to date. Now, I believe that the Avatar sequels will probably beat that out, but that's not until December of 2022. So until then, 47 Meters Down takes the record. Story is simple: two sisters vacationing, bonding, doing the shark cage thing, just the two of them, and then the cable that holds the cage snaps. And you'll never guess where they end up. Yes, 154 feet down. Oh, sorry, for you Queen's English types, let me do the conversion, carry the one. All right, 47 meters down. Now, for the rest of the movie, they are stuck at the bottom and they can't resurface, namely due to, well, basically great white sharks, or as I like to call them, hungry hippos of the sea. Now, that's pretty much the overall fun jump scare shock flick that this movie is. And while the sharks are completely CGI'd, they are actually pretty good. I mean, it's pretty exciting where these things are going with everything being shot, the superhero films, Avatar, etc. The CGI is getting so good that it's only right around the corner before, even the sharks will be so convincing that we won't know if they're real or not, which will make the films even that much more frightening and fun. I always love underwater films that are actually shot underwater, like 47 Meters Down, and not like some others. I mean, I'm just saying, if your entire movie is set in an underwater world, wouldn't you want to shoot it underwater? That's why the Hollywood underwater film industry is there, right there for you in Los Angeles with tanks and all. Anyways, Aquaman 2, dive in. to the waters. Anyways, even like in this scene where Holt has to remove her dive gear, she really is doing the maneuver to get out of the cage and then having to put it, all back on again. They're doing it. And yes, there are safety divers. Yes, they are only in a 20-foot tank in London, England of all places. But for all intents and purposes, Holt still had to perform this very real action underwater. So shout out both to her and Mandy Moore for doing the work on this film. It's pretty awesome. I'm assuming that they would love to get back to it.
It's gonna take me another couple of years to sort of want to get back in the water.
Maybe never again.
Or not, but you know what? They got the street cred now for having done an underwater movie. I think all actors should have to do an underwater movie. And we'll be right here for all of it at Hollywood Underwater. Listen, I won't go into the very twisty ending of this film. I think if you haven't watched it, it's worth the watch, and I'm not going to spoil it for you. It's fun. Just remember, turn those logic receptors off for an hour and a half and just enjoy the scares and the suspense and have fun. All right, thank you for joining me. My name is Oscar. Please hit that subscribe and all the other little buttons, and I will see you soon on Hollywood Underwater. Hungry, hungry hippos of the sea. That's my sea shanty accent.